What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Get ready as it's time for a gauntlet match on Smackdown to determine Roman Reigns' next challenger for the Universal Champion. With the Royal Rumble drawing close, what other surprises can the WWE Universe expect on the Blue brand? Join us now as we look at the 8th January episode of Smackdown, as well as the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including WWE wrestlers have squashed their real-life beef, the real reason why Adam Pearce is challenging Roman Reigns, Mustafi Ali in trouble with WWE, a superstar turning babyface, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. As always, we won't recap the show, but just provide you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, a promising program. Newly crowned Intercontinental Champion Big E's second IC title reign seems to be off to a good start with him facing off against Apollo Crews. As we noted last week, Crews is an excellent worker with a decent amount of charisma, although nothing like Big E's, and plenty of passion. Having the two battle to a draw then a second match was a good way to show that Crews is more than an up-and-comer. This booking shows potential largely because the WWE isn't going with the tired route of putting King Corbin up against E. If the WWE plays up Crews' past reign as United States Champion and gives him some wins over other stars on the Blue brand, this could be a good program depending on where the WWE wants to take Big E going into WrestleMania. With any luck, Crews vs Big E is just starting and Apollo will show he's determined to become Intercontinental Champion whatever it takes, improving his standing on the Blue brand and giving Big E a formidable opponent. Number 2, new tag team champions. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode's title win was well done and a great way to build sympathy on the Street Profits as Montez Ford was clearly dealing with a kayfabe leg injury from last week. Ziggler and Roode are one of the many teams the WWE seemed to throw together with little or no planning, but it turned into a surprisingly good duo. Ziggler and Roode should be able to get heat on themselves with their title win and provide some excitement as Ford and Dawkins chase them for the tag team titles. With next to no teams on the Blue brand, they don't seem to have any choice right now, but look for the WWE to have the Profits pursue the champs, regain the belts and drop them to the Usos once Jimmy Uso returns from injury. Well, that's how we see it. Number 3, a new role for Sonya Deville. While it's certain Sonya Deville will return to the ring, it's good for the WWE to stretch out a return by having her serve as an on-air capacity as Adam Pearce's assistant. The women's division on Smackdown, as well as Raw, is a mess, so putting Deville back into the ring isn't going to do her any good right now. Whatever Deville's role is on Smackdown, she'll have a chance to show whether she has any charisma or whether her in-ring talent is all she has to rely on. Number 4, good or bad. While we like to provide definitive takes on shows, this following situation is too close to call, so we're leaving it up to you guys to decide. Is the apparent face turn of Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro a good thing or a bad thing? While there have been rumors of WWE looking to give stars like Nakamura and Cesaro a chance to help revive the ratings, both men have been booked as mid-carders for so long that it's hard to take them seriously. The WWE's Insta push for Jey Uso seemed to help him grow into a single star, but it takes more than a few wins to make a wrestler seem like his top star. Cesaro has been a tag team act for so long now that it will take time for him to remind fans of his solo skills, even though we know it's damn right there. Shinsuke Nakamura's reputation has taken a hit over the years, but not as much as Cesaro, which makes it possible that the WWE could book him as a worthy opponent for Roman if it takes some time. Throwing Nakamura into a match against Reigns immediately would be a terrible idea, and the WWE would kill any chance of a push for Shinsuke as well as to diminish Reigns' character further. But that was the good. What about the bad? As number 1, Adam Pearce wins the gauntlet? Adam Pearce winning the gauntlet match is another reminder that 2021 is off to a bad start in the WWE. While the prospect of Bill Goldberg vs Drew McIntyre has potential, yeah, we are saying that despite this being Bill Goldberg, the idea of Adam Pearce vs Roman Reigns is laughable at best and Russo-esque at worst. Now there is a reason why the WWE put Adam Pearce in the spot, as we'll discuss later. Now, there was nothing downright ugly about last night's show, but the WWE needs to follow up with this week's Smackdown with a strong episode if it wants to build any buzz for the weekly show, not to mention the Royal Rumble. What did you guys think of Smackdown this week? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, let's move on to the news. Now, our first story looks at the reason behind Adam Pearce becoming Roman Reigns' challenger. Now, nobody will believe Adam Pearce will be walking out of the Royal Rumble with the Universal Championship, so why is the WWE having a retired wrestler turned authority figure challenging Roman Reigns for SmackDown's top prize? It's obvious that the WWE is going to go with a swerve, but to what purpose? Dave Meltzer seems to think he knows where things are going and discussed things on the Wrestling Observer Radio, saying it's possible that they'll change it back to Kevin Owens because it seems like a strange match to make. Because if they do that, it pretty much tells you that they literally have no ideas at all. I'm not ruling out that they'll go back to Kevin Owens. One rumor going around was that KO was facing Roman Reigns in a last man standing match at the Rumble, finishing their series as Reigns prepares for WrestleMania. Next up, Ali in trouble? Lately, the Retribution leader hasn't been afraid to speak his mind on the mic, calling out WWE's decision to put legends on Raw, almost as if he's breaking character and going against the WWE. But Ali's words spoke true on what the WWE Universe was actually feeling. Now, is this the WWE giving Ali this edgy character, blurring the line between shoot and kayfabe? Well, it doesn't seem so, as WWE isn't likely to give him any more mic time, especially on a live broadcast, in fear of actually shooting on the product. Ali recently tweeted, "We don't know if we can give you a live mic again," with a photo of him on Raw Live. But isn't this what we want to see though? A thin line between kayfabe and shoot? We think that Ali is doing a fantastic job on the mic, but what do you guys think of his comments and the WWE not trusting him anymore? Is this another trick by Ali to blur the lines? Next up, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic featuring teams outside NXT. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is back as NXT holds its annual tournament to determine the Black and Gold brand's best tag team. Now, NXT and 205 Live General Manager has announced a change to the tournament. Starting next week, 205 Live will be joining with NXT to hold the first rounds of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. The winners will not only win the coveted Dusty Cup, but they will also receive an NXT Tag Team Championship match. This should add even more talented young teams to the event, which has become a must-see event for fans of tag team wrestling. Next up, WWE superstars squash their real beef. There's interesting backstage news on the rumored heat between Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins. You may recall that Rollins was furious when Riddle's wife made comments about several WWE female superstars, questioning their skinny, jiggly, fat look and posting a picture of Becky Lynch along with the comment. Now Fightful Select reports that things are copacetic as the two have talked out their differences and Riddle apologized for his wife's comments. Matt Riddle has been an outspoken individual, calling out wrestlers such as Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. The last thing Riddle needs is further heat from other superstars, particularly full-time main eventers like Seth Rollins. Next up, Shinsuke Nakamura turning babyface. Has Shinsuke Nakamura returned to the side of the Angels? Well, that may be the case based on his performance at Smackdown's Gauntlet match to determine Roman Reigns' Royal Rumble opponent. In case you missed it, the King of Strong Style defeated Rey Mysterio, King Corbin and Daniel Bryan before falling to Adam Pearce. Of course, Pearce had the unwanted help of Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, who beat down Nakamura and Pearce, placing Pearce on top of Nakamura for the win. Nakamura scored clean wins on his opponents and shook hands with babyface Daniel Bryan after beating him. What may be equally interesting is that Shinsuke's tag team partner Cesaro may be a babyface now, as the Swiss Cyborg tweeted, "Don't mess with my friends," along with a video of Reigns and Uso beating down Shinsuke. This could make for an interesting series as Nakamura challenges Reigns and Cesaro provides backup. The only problem is that both Nakamura and Cesaro have been booked as mid-card acts for so long that it's difficult to see them as legitimate threats anymore, especially one so as untouchable as Roman Reigns. And finally, Matt and Reby expecting a new baby. Last but not least, congratulations to Matt and Reby Hardy as the couple have announced they're expecting their fourth child. Matt tweeted, "Team Boy is so stacked in House Hardy, we decided to add a new member to Team Girl. It looks like there could be even more second and third generation wrestlers, as wrestling couples like Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, Cody and Brandy Rhodes, Jon Moxley and Renee Young, and now the Hardys have brought new babies into the world or are about to do so." But there you have it guys, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly from the 8th January Smackdown, along with the wildest wrestling news stories. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.